I'm gonna go over another bowl, but this time working with a technique called coning. I'm going to be taking my clay, making sure my wheel is nice and dry, nice and clean. And I'm gonna try to find the center in the rings, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to take my clay and I'm going to attach it to my wheel. So I'm gonna throw it down. Make sure I tap it into place. You want it to be almost like a little mountain. And what coning is it really emphasizes that shape, and it makes it easier for some people to throw. Making sure your hands are wet, that you have your water on your clay, and we're gonna kind of go in and start to introduce our hands nice and slow. And you're working with your whole body when you're doing this. You'll notice that I actually have my arms rested on my legs. I'm not just using my arms, I'm using my legs, I'm using my core to really make sure I stabilize my body. So coning is taking the clay and kind of what it sounds like bringing it to a cone. Usually I'll like to pull these up for this size clay about 2 times. And now I have like a little, it kind of looks almost like a swirly ice cream. And this makes it easier sometimes to center because you have a smaller space that you're working with, and you could gradually push it down. So I'm keeping my left hand still, like I would center if I was just going in and centering regularly. And I'm slowly pushing down. And it's letting me keep my hand nice and steady, working with a smaller piece of clay and then gradually building in. Like I said, you want to add water anytime the sheen disappears. And now that I had more of a handle on the top part, going in and centering is a little bit easier. I mostly do this technique when I'm working with larger pieces of clay, but some people like to do this with every piece. They feel that it's much easier. I'm gonna add a little bit more water and then continue to center this. I'm gonna scrape up a little bit of that extra clay on the side because it was in my way. And I'm just gonna push down, keeping my left hand still. And you could start to pick up speed. If you get gunk on your hands like that, you don't want that. It's gonna be really difficult to throw. That's kind of why I let it build up like that, to show you guys to make sure that you remove it, rinse your hands, go back. So you wanna make sure you have a nice big bucket of clean water. So that was coning. And in this video, I'm gonna go ahead in and I'm gonna make a cylinder as well, so that we're getting 2 different demos. So to make a cylinder is a little different than making a bowl because it's going against what the wheel naturally wants to do. But it's gonna be the start of the same technique. Going in, finding the center, adding a little bit of water, and going about 3/4 of the way down. I'm still stabilizing my clay. I'm gonna then slowly drag it out towards me. I have my hands connected and I am just pulling the clay until I get a nice rounded shape. I feel like for a cylinder, I only want to open it up a few inches so that I have a lot more room to just pull it up straight. And this would be a technique for this size clay, maybe like a mug or something. So I'm gonna go ahead in and I'm gonna start to pull up my walls. I am pinching the outside and I'm gonna slowly pull it up. But for this, I wanna use my inside hand to stabilize and my outside hand to push the clay in while I'm bringing it up. And in between every pull, I always like to neaten up the top. I still have a bunch of clay down here, So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do another pull. Actually, let me smooth this inside out a little bit more. There we go. So I am using all of this clay and I'm gonna be pushing in as I'm pulling up. Now you wanna maintain the same pressure the whole time, or else what's gonna happen is you'll get a thin spot, and that's what will cause your piece to sometimes break. I'm gonna do one more pull here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just finish this piece up. I'll shape it up a little bit so you can see what that looks like. So I'm gonna do my last pull, really pushing inward. Uh-oh, that's the bell. Gonna go in and just smooth it up a little bit. And from here, sometimes you can go in and you could shape it. So I'm gonna push it out a little bit on the bottom to kind of give it more of like a mug shape. Hi, I am filming right now. Touch up the edges a little bit, and then I'm gonna go in with my wooden tool, take up some of that extra clay, and you'll already start to notice that the shape is definitely more of like a little mug or a little vase or something like that. Make sure to smooth up the inside. Get any water out of there, make sure it's nice and smooth. Smooth up the lip a little bit. And there are so many different mug shapes you could do, but this is just, you know, a basic traditional. And then it's gonna be the same thing to take it off the wheel. Clean it up a little bit with your wooden tool like I did. Add a little bit of water. Make sure your thumbs are down to cut it off the wheel. Pop your splash pan. Drag it towards you. So I'll make another video on trimming that as well. Remember, you just want to make sure to clean up really well, use your wooden tool, scrape all this up, and then you are good to go to make another piece.